Hi, my name's Jody Shaw. I work in the Department of Residence Life at Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts. Today I'm going to be talking about some tweets. I'm going to spend this video talking about one tweet and then another video talking about the other tweet. So for those of you who have been watching my videos, you know that on November 30th, I was placed on leave and under investigation, an impact assessment investigation. The details are in a video, but one of the allegations that was made during that meeting was that I issued a tweet that was, quote, disparaging, end quote, of the college, and that you're not allowed to do that. And the reason that I'm not allowed to do that, I guess, what she meant was because the content of that tweet, she says, is not related in any way to my job duties. It has nothing to do with my job, and therefore it's not protected by the NLRA, which is the National Labor Relations Act, which protects all of these videos, all of the everything I've been talking about, because my doing so is an effort to improve working conditions at Smith College. So I explained in the meeting that this tweet does have to do with my position, and I want to talk about that. I want to look at that tweet now and talk about why I made the tweet. I want to talk about my reasoning and how it is related to my job. So let's look at the tweet. So here is the tweet. You can see it's actually a retweet, and the original tweet says, in particular, my gut sense is this interrupts identity development, makes it impossible to build healthy boundaries, and creates mental illness. Am I correct? And then I say, this sums up my thoughts about the Smith Res Life curriculum for Smith College students. So I want to point out that the original tweet that I retweeted was actually a response to another tweet that was issued by a psychotherapist in which she was talking about this woke ideology and how it can be counterproductive for development of, I think she was referring to young people. So the residence life curriculum is part of my job to support this curriculum, and this curriculum concerns itself with identity development. Most residence life departments on campuses, college campuses and universities are concerned with identity development of students. And so they create these co-curriculums, which work alongside the regular academic curriculum. At Smith, this co-curriculum is focused around social justice. And so even though it is very much the job of residence life to be concerned with the students' identity development, that is their development outside the regular curriculum, interpersonal interactions, conflict management, roommate issues, adjusting to college, transitions, those kinds of things. What I see happening in the residence life department at Smith College is a conflation of social identity with identity. When I think of identity, when I think of somebody else's identity, I think of who they are, their character. That's something that really I can only know by getting to know somebody, taking time and interacting with that person regularly. As for my own identity, I also think of it as how I feel about myself, about who I am. In a way, it's also a negotiation. It's not necessarily a fixed thing and can change depending on my life's experiences. There are certain experiences that can shape one's identity, and there are certain fixed things, such as possibly immutable characteristics. What I mean by that is that there are any number of immutable characteristics that I possess that may have had an impact on my life for one reason or another, but not necessarily any more, any less than anything else. By focusing so much on social identity development, I really think there's not just an overemphasis, but an assumption that one's immutable characteristics pretty much comprise one's identity. Just knowing your immutable characteristics gives me zero information about you. The only information it could possibly give me is if I'm creating that information or I'm projecting the information onto you based on what I've been taught to do, perhaps by this residence life curriculum. Very clear example is if you are white, then I am being told by the residence life department that I need to attach or assign to you power and privilege based upon your skin color. If you are not white, then I am being told to attach or project onto you a marginalized role or that of an oppressed person. I'm not only being told to do that to others, I'm being told to do that to myself. And I object to that. And I have been objecting to that for quite a while now. Your immutable characteristics may have had an impact on your identity development. If a student comes to me and says, hey, I have X skin color, and that's been really formative in my identity, and here's why, then I can recognize that, okay, that's an important part of your identity because you have told me it is. But I'm not going to make that assumption for you. And that's the difference. This kind of thing that the Residence Life curriculum is pushing for people to make assumptions and interpret reality of other people, interpret their identity for them based upon these external immutable characteristics. And it's one thing to teach students in a way that encourages them to look at their lives and examine what has truly had an impact on them. It might not be their skin color at all. And so that is really the crux of the problem with a curriculum that posits identity development as social identity development, because social identity really does revolve around these immutable fixed characteristics. And it actually requires one to make assumptions about other people based on their immutable characteristics. And that's asking me to engage in racial prejudice. I'm not going to do it. So that is why I have a problem with this. And I do think that this interrupts actual identity development. I think that. I do think it makes it, if not impossible, very hard to create healthy boundaries and possibly creates mental illness. I believe those things. And that's why I retweeted this tweet. I hope that was clear. If it wasn't, feel free to write to me and tell me how I need to explain it in a different way or better, or where I need to clarify it. Okay, signing off. Let's keep talking.